Hello and welcome to Tools to Create a Better Life with myself, Glenyce Hughes. Thank you so much for being here. I am so incredibly grateful for each and every one of you. So, how I won the lottery. Yes, it's not maybe what you think. So I came across a post that I did actually a year ago yesterday on Facebook. You know how it comes up in memories, and it inspired this whole show. And the post was me out at my pool, shocking, I know. And I was talking about how I used to always dream about winning the lottery, because I thought that that would be the only way I could create my life the way that I desired it to be. There was no other way, which really, with that sort of point of view, guess what? You're always going to be a victim, because unless you win the lottery, you're not going to be able to create your life. Thankfully, I came across these amazing tools from Access Consciousness that have gifted me something that would be equivalent to winning the lottery in the sense of actually knowing I have choice. Yes, choice is like the new lottery. Because if you're willing to acknowledge that you as an infinite being have infinite choice, you can create anything. Whereas winning the lottery gives you more cash, and that's all. Whereas the lottery of acknowledging that you have infinite choice, that is the magic, my sweet friends. So that is the lottery that I am talking about, how I won the lottery. It's truly the lottery of infinite choice and knowing that I have infinite choice. And I have choice and then choice, then choice, then choice, then choice, then choice. So it's not like I have one choice. I have, just like you have, infinite choice. So often when we're pretending that we are a victim, which is where I spent a lot of my life, we don't acknowledge we have choice. We do the blame game, we do the upset game, we do the everybody gets it but me game. Oh my gosh, I cannot tell you how many times I played that game. Until, like I said, I started studying these tools from Access Consciousness, which bit by bit allowed me to start recognizing that it's me that is creating my life. So if I'm creating a life of no choice, that's me. I'm choosing that. If I'm creating a life of asking questions and choosing towards the ones that feel the yummiest, that's what I'm creating. And that really is this space of, one, the willingness to ask. So we have to even go back a little bit further with that. Let's say you would like to go on a trip and you're looking at your options and you've decided that going to the mountains is the right trip for you. Okay, notice the energy. You've decided that it's the right trip. Okay, those are all judgments. And then you go to ask the question, like, truth, if we go to the mountains for the holiday, will it create the future we desire or decay it? Based on your decision of it being the right one, you're going to get a yes, because you've decided it. So the step even before the question, all of the decisions, judgments, conclusions, computations, projections, rejections, expectations, separations, refined judgments that I have about this trip, I destroy and uncreate them all. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, shorts, boys, and beyonds. That is the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement. You can go to theclearingstatement.com for more about how it works. But it's like a magic wand, and it just starts clearing the insanity, clearing the energy. So even before you ask your question, clear that stuff first so you can actually get a true awareness. Not one that is based on your decisions and judgments, but a true awareness of what will actually create more. And then you ask the question, with no point of view on it, so that you can start getting a sense of what is going to create the future you desire. Not what you should do, not what's right to do, not what's wrong to do, but what is actually going to create the future you desire. Yeah. So when we talk about the lottery of choice, this is part of it. You get to recognize, one, you have infinite choice. Even in a reality that's telling you you don't, you do. Recognizing it and then looking at, you actually have the entire universe supporting you with these choices. And here's the other really magical thing about choice. There's no right one and there's no wrong one. You have never made a wrong choice in your life. You've never made a right choice in your life. Now, there are choices that create greater and there are choices that create less, but it's never from the conclusion of, if I do A, then it will equal B and that will be wrong. That's not a question. That's not awareness. That's the conclusion that it's this way instead of asking. So earlier this year, I believe it was this year. Yes, it was this year in 2021. And all of the crazy going on in the world and all of the travel restrictions and all of that, I started telling myself, but not really even acknowledging, I was telling myself that I couldn't travel. So this is what I was, going on in my world, but I wasn't really acknowledging it. So all it was, it just felt heavy and contracted. And I was spinning in this, well, I can't travel. I have no choice here. That was the energy behind it all. I have no choice. And then finally one day I went, oh, wait a minute. That's heavy. That's contracted, which means there's a lie. Interesting. Okay. So then I just took a moment with it. Okay, so what's the lie? Well, the lie is I can't travel. I can travel. Absolutely, I can travel. Every one of us can travel. It's what does that look like? Would we like to? Is it going to create the future we desire or decay it? What is that for us? And I don't mean like asking that today about a travel possibility next month or even next week. That's not it. That's way too far away. It's really in that moment. And so I looked at, in that moment, truth, would booking a trip today create the future I desire or decay it? And it was to decay it. So it's like, all right, I can stop mind fucking about this insanity that I can't travel and poor me and rah. I can choose to travel. Of course I can. So we want to look at all of those pieces there that we're lying. We don't have choice. We do have choice. We have infinite choice. It might not be the way that you would like it to be. So with travel on airplanes right now, maybe not all of them, I'm not sure, here in Canada, you would require to have a COVID test. So if I don't desire to have that test, then that's the choice I'm making. So we really got to look at it from a different angle than, well, I can't travel. I have no choice. It's like, no, look at what that is actually. If you don't desire to have that test and you choose not to travel based on that, that's the choice. Yeah, right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, 𝗵𝘁, shorts, boys, and beyonds. So it really is about recognizing you are the power. You are the potency. You are the creativity. You are the awareness. You are the magic in your life, and you also are infinite choice, which means you can be looking at that. You can be looking at all of those energies that you're saying I can't and look at, okay, so what is required here? Now, another great question with this is asking, what choice am I refusing here? If I would choose it, would change this. Yeah. The other thing I want to mention, I was just saying, you be power, you be potency, you be creativity. All of those are from the How to Become Money workbook with Gary Douglas. Highly recommend it. We're just finishing up with our 13 days. We were doing a chapter a day for 13 days. And I do that fairly often, guys. So if you're not on my list, get on my list to catch the next one. And on September 14th, we're starting a chapter a day from the advanced How to Become Money workbook. Yes, my sweet friends, freaking phenomenal. So there'll be a link somewhere. If you can't find it, message me, I will get it for you. I also have something really fun that we're doing that I've never actually done before. Earlier last year, I created a course called Rich as Fuck, and it's a 5-module course. And starting September 30th, we're going to have a question and answer on each module each week. So for 5 weeks, starting September 30th, 2021, we're going to get together on a Zoom and go through any questions that anybody has. So if you're part of Rich as Fuck already, you get this as part of being in there already. Thank you. And if you're not, go grab the course, get started on it, and then let's get together for these question and answers so that I can contribute to you as you go through these modules. How does it get any better? Okay, so back to the lottery, winning the lottery of choice, because with that, with acknowledging that you have infinite choice, and I'm even going to do a bit of a wording thing here, you be infinite choice. You be infinite choice. Once you acknowledge that, then you can create anything. What would you like to choose? What would you like to choose? Would you like to choose, a financial world that isn't so fun for you? Probably not. So what would you like to choose? How about having more money than you can spend and never enough? Yeah. What about that? So we can turn that ask into a question. What energy, space, consciousness, choice, magic, miracles, mysteries, and possibilities can you and your body be to always have more money than you can spend and never enough with total ease and joy and glory? Anything that doesn't allow that to show up as if by magic, we destroy and uncreate it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, all 9, 𝗵𝘁, shorts, boys, and beyonds. So choice to me is a verb. So choice is something that you're doing. Everything, every thought you're thinking, every word you're speaking, every action you're taking is a choice. What you want to be aware of is, are the choices you're choosing creating what you desire? So as we're going through the How to Become Money workbook, which again is amazing, in there they talk about how paying attention to what you're talking about, what you're thinking about, what you're creating with those choices. So if you're asking, so let's say right now as I ran that clearing, you're like, oh yeah, I would love to have more money than I could spend and never enough. Which I should explain that. What that means is it's always flowing. So more money than you can spend and never enough. It just means it's always flowing. There's always tons and tons and tons and tons and millions and billions of dollars. Okay, that's what that energy is. So let's say you did that with me and you're like, yeah, that, okay? So then you finish listening to this radio show, you have a friend phone you up and starts complaining about how money is so tight. Here's where choice comes in, my friends. Do you join them in that? That's choosing away from what you just said you would like. Do you resist them? No, there's always more money. What are you talking about? That's still choosing against what you just said you would like. Or do you be the infinite allowance you truly be and just go, oh, wow, yeah, with no point of view. So you're not saying to them, you're right, and you're not saying to them, you're wrong. You're just being an interesting point of view, which means you have no point of view about what they're talking about. You're willing to allow them to choose a reality of struggle with money if that's what they would like to choose. I'm going to repeat that. Being an allowance means you're willing to allow someone you care about to choose something that you know isn't creating what you would like. Yeah, that's where most of us get stuck. That's where most of us jump in and go, oh, no, don't talk like that. Don't be like that. Don't think like that. Let's change this. This is wrong. Do you know what you're creating with it? Stop it. Stop it. One of the greatest gifts that Gary Douglas has gifted me many a time, let me say, is Glenyce, shut the fuck up. That may sound rude, but it actually has been a huge contribution because I spent most of my life trying to get people to see it my way, trying to convince people there's another way. Don't you understand? If you just did that. What if we stop that? How unkind is that of me to put that onto somebody? It's like gifting somebody this radio show saying, you have to listen to this. You must listen to this. You must change your points of views. Oh my gosh, I'm so grateful that I've done that for the most part now. And I say for the most part, because every once in a while, I'll still do it. And I'll be like, damn, all right, now what? Now what can I choose? So again, like I said before, there's no right or wrong choice, my sweet friends. There's just choice. And sometimes we choose something to go, oh, that doesn't work anymore. Okay, I'm over it. Carry on. So we get so much awareness from the choices we choose. And if you're willing, that can guide you because you can make a choice. You could start a conversation. Let's say that friend, you're on the phone with that friend and they're talking about how hard money is and how horrible money is. And you start down the road with them. You're like, oh yes, absolutely. Does anybody even talk like this anymore? I think I'm dating myself. Did you know there was a time I could only talk like this and the phone was hooked to a wall? I know. Absurd. I mean, it's horrifying to think about. But anyway, you're on the phone with your friend. Maybe you're doing this, whatever you're doing. Maybe it's a video. Doesn't matter. So you're on the phone with your friend and you start going down the rabbit hole with them and you start to get that icky, that heavy, that contracted. And you're like, oh, wait, I've been asking to have more money than I can spend and never enough. And I'm doing the exact opposite over here. What if I stop? Even in that moment, you don't even have to finish your sentence. You could go, oh my gosh, I totally just forgot what I was saying. You know what? Did you see the new TV show or something? Like, change the subject, do something else. You don't even have to explain to them what you're doing because often when we do that, we're still trying to get them to see it our way. What if we allow them that space, whatever it is they want to choose, whatever that is, let them choose it. And be aware for ourselves, be honest with ourselves, be present with what we are choosing. That's winning the lottery, my friends. That's winning the lottery. And the other super cool thing is, you don't have to actually do this 100% of the time. This has been the greatest awareness for me is that I can still go down the rabbit hole now and again. I can still try to convince people to change something or other. I can still choose that once in a while and still be creating a really fucking phenomenal, magical life. It doesn't need to be 100% of the time. Because I know a lot of people will stop and they're like, oh, I'd never be able to do it that well, so I won't even bother. It's like, no. Just choose once today, just once today, to change the choice, to be aware of what you're choosing, be aware if it's creating what you would like, and if it isn't, choose something different. If it is, holy hell, keep choosing it. Keep choosing it, have fun with it. If it's getting lighter and yummier and more expansive, that's a totally different and creative energy right there, guys. Now, sometimes you're not really clear in what it is to choose. Sometimes you're really like, I'm not getting a clear awareness. I'm not getting a clear yumminess or contraction. And a couple things with that. One, how awareness shows up for you changes all the time. So if yesterday it showed up as light and heavy, awesome. It doesn't mean it will today. So be aware of that. A lot of people, they're actually more of a knower than they are a perceiver. So if you're more of a knower, what occurs is before you even finish asking the question, you get the energy of it. But because you're still looking for light and heavy, you really end up distracting yourself because you don't get a light and heavy and now you don't know awareness and now you're wrong and you spin in that insanity rather than like, oh, okay, so if I knew here, what would I know? Ask that. The other thing it can be is it might not actually be relevant in that 10 seconds. So let's say you're looking at your fridge and saying, body, would you like tuna or would you like salmon? and you're not getting a big difference between the two, ask, truth, is this relevant? Because if it isn't, guess what? Your body wouldn't mind either, so you actually get to choose in that moment. Sometimes our body has a big preference between something, and sometimes it doesn't. So it can be that. The other thing when you're not getting a clear awareness, it can actually be that you are in this space of the decisions, judgments, conclusions, computations, projections, rejections, expectations, separations, refined judgments. You've probably heard me say it, the DJCCs, pissers, and RJs. And so you just want to clear those again. The other thing, gosh, I guess there's more than a few, is that it could not be the time to ask. So often what I have done myself and I've seen other people do is we're asking more of what we would call a psychic question than an awareness question. And I always use this example because it was so interesting to me how many times I attempted the psychic question when we had our previous acreage for sale and a new person would be coming to look at a new family. I would ask, truth, will they buy this? Guess what? That's a psychic question. It's not actually what matters. When I ask that question, it makes me a victim. Because let's say it was a no. Okay, they won't buy it, which means it won't sell, which means I'll never sell it, which means we wouldn't be able to buy this beautiful acreage with a swimming pool. That's not a question. The question is, what can I be and do different today to sell this acreage right away? So that's an empowerment question rather than the psychic question of from this powerlessness of, will they buy it? Gee, I sure hope they buy it. If they don't, I don't get to create my life. Nuh-uh. What can I be and do different today to sell this acreage right away? Not sell it to them. It didn't actually matter to me who bought it, just that someone bought it. And so you really want to look at that too, because often we're actually asking psychic questions, which we're then putting ourselves powerless, which is a big lie, a big, big lie. We are infinite beings with infinite power, infinite potency, infinite creativity, infinite awareness, and infinite money. Yeah, right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, 𝗵𝘁, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And money is so much more than just cash. It is also cash and so much more. Absolutely. So again, if you haven't done the How to Become Money workbook, I highly, highly recommend it. I've done it well over 200 times at this point, my sweet friends. It's that magical, and I will continue because it changes stuff for me every freaking time. Yes. So looking at what you would like, looking at the life you would like to create, you might start at looking at where you've decided you don't have choice. Okay, cool. Now, what could you start acknowledging there? What choices do you have that you're pretending you don't have? Yeah, rather than buying the lie you don't have choice, I promise you, you have infinite choice. You have infinite choice. You be infinite choice. It's just, are you willing to? Are you actually willing to be it? You willing to win the lottery of you as the infinite being with infinite choice to create a magical life beyond what anybody else here is willing to so far? Are you willing to be that different? Fuck yeah. Let's do it, my sweet friends. Let's do it. Let's stop pretending that we are victims. Let's stop pretending we are powerless. And let's be us. Let's be the magic of us. Let's be the choice of us. Let's be the infinite beings we truly be. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. I look forward to chatting again next week. If you enjoyed this, please share it. Please leave a 5-star review wherever you're listening, however you're listening. And thank you, thank you, thank you.